All right, you guys. Well, today I have for you a 2012 Jeep Liberty. Doing kind of an interesting video today, but we'll take you around the car. Very boxy styling to it. We'll pop the trunk. So actually, when you press this only pops the rear glass open. So this is what it looks like with the rear glass open. Or you could just open the entire tailgate, which we'll do. And this is your cargo storage. It's pretty good, actually. Really not too bad for a compact SUV. And you do get a little thing under the floor right here. But we'll close this up here. Show you guys the back seat room really quick. It's not the best, as you can see. Really not like the greatest seat room. Like my knees are kind of like up against the seat here. It's not like I couldn't sit back here, but it is like a little bit cramped. You do get this kind of like brown colored interior with these brown leather seats. I think these look pretty nice. But we'll hop out here. Bit of a challenge getting out. This door is like kind of narrow, this entryway, so it's a bit hard getting in here. But I'll show you guys under the hood real quick. All right, and this is the 3.7 liter V6 that powers the Liberty. Makes 210 horsepower and 235 pound-feet of torque. For a V6, like 210 horsepower really isn't that much. And this is paired to a 4-speed automatic. Kind of crazy, even in 2012 they were using 4 speeds. Another nail in the coffin, these things only got 15 mpg in the city and 21 on the highway. So really not the best fuel economy, not the best powertrain. But we'll close up the hood here. All right, and we'll show you guys what this car is made of. Hop in. I do like this brown interior. I think the brown adds like a nice touch to it. I don't know, it's decent for 2012. But we'll start it up. This is the key, just a normal key. This Jeep Liberty does have 132,000 miles on it. Very simple controls. This is your radio. Surprisingly, you do get Bluetooth phone controls in here. Even on the steering wheel, like your voice and your hang up. This menu button just cycles through various items in this screen right here. You can see your outside temperature, your distance to empty, all the usual things you'd expect. These are your cruise control buttons. This is your radio, like I said, very simple. You get a little storage tray up here. You do get your climate controls, just 3 dials, you know, fan speed, temperature, and zone. 2 level heated seats for the driver and passenger. This is your traction control off. This is your hill descent control. This is your shifter for the 4-speed automatic. You do get low gear selection. We'll put it in park there. You get a manual handbrake. These are your 4-wheel drive controls right here. So you get 2-wheel drive, you get 4-wheel drive lock, and this is 4-wheel drive low, like for your off-roading. But we'll put it back in 2-wheel drive there. Your center console, you get a little tray up here, and you get a bigger tray down here, and it's actually a pretty big center console. Lots of hard plastic in this interior, like where the cup holders are, along the door panels. Basically kind of hard, cheap plastic everywhere. When you get this car, you kind of have to be okay with that. You do get a glove box. It's a good size. You also get memory seats in here, which is pretty nice, 1 and 2. We're gonna get this Jeep Liberty out on the road. We'll talk about how it drives here. First, setting off, this feels like a pretty big SUV. Not like, it's not difficult to drive though. It feels fairly manageable. I kind of like the sound of this V6. It's got like a very like burly engine sound. I kind of thought this was like a V8 when I first drove this car. But it's a V6. And for 230 horsepower, it's really not too bad, I find. I was always able to like get around in traffic. This thing just kind of, it scoots around, it gets up and moves when you want it to, for the most part. There are occasions where it does feel a little bit underpowered, but it's still like daily drivable. I was expecting to like get in this car and like immediately not like it. But there are honestly things I like about this Jeep Liberty. I mean, obviously it doesn't have the most modern technology. It's not the nicest car. But it does like, it drives decently for what it is. These brakes are nice and smooth. They feel very powerful. This Jeep Liberty has very composed stops. Talk about the engine a little bit. It's really not bad. Like there's 40. It feels like normal in how it gets up to speed. I read 210 horsepower and thought this is gonna feel dog slow, but it's really not totally like that. It feels like fairly normal and fairly balanced in the acceleration, at least in my opinion. This SUV does feel a little bit heavy, but I haven't really had an issue like zipping around in this thing. It feels like pretty predictable in how it drives. Try out some of the power here. This car is gonna get you up and moving. It's gonna get you out into traffic just fine. This Jeep Liberty definitely feels like a mini truck in a lot of ways. It's got kind of a bouncy, a bit of a clumsy-ish ride to it. But on smooth pavement, like it's fine. Like I can't complain at all. It's riding so smoothly right now. I'm just like really not feeling the bumps very much right now. It's only when you're on like kind of choppy pavement, this suspension gets kind of floaty. But for the most part, it's okay. This steering, it's another aspect that kind of feels like a mini truck. It's definitely not like the most responsive. You kind of do like that and the car doesn't do a whole lot. It's just like a little bit coarser, a little bit less linear, less refined, but honestly it's manageable. Downshift a little bit there. This 4-speed automatic, it responds surprisingly quickly as well. I really don't have to put my foot into it for it to kick into gear and send me up to speed. Yeah, like just slightly bouncy over there, but still very manageable and very easygoing. This ride, it never feels particularly rough or like, it never feels rough or harsh. It's just like a little bit bouncy for my liking. I have pretty good visibility. This front hood is like a little bit boxy, but I can see like right over it just fine. These pillars are fairly thin, and these side mirrors can see out of them just fine. And I got a nice big back window to look out of. You kind of feel like you're king of the road in this thing. Despite it being only a compact SUV, it feels a lot more truck-like compared to other SUVs in this segment. Honestly, it's not bad. Like, I left that guy in the dust pretty easily. "210 horsepower really doesn't sound like a lot, but for some reason this car just feels fairly peppy and fairly quick on its feet. We'll try out a little handling test right here. Not bad for a tall Jeep like this. I was actually fairly surprised at how this Jeep Liberty handles. I mean, obviously it's not a sports car. It's not like this thing, like, it's not like you can take this on the track or something. But in terms of like just like its overall feel, it's like easy to drive. It's shockingly easy to drive. when you take a corner, it doesn't really feel like it's like gonna tip over or anything like that, like you might expect. Nice and responsive. Really wasn't expecting that. But really, you can drive this with a very light foot and still be able to keep up with traffic just fine. Right now, I'm really just barely hitting the accelerator, and I'm able to get up this hill pretty easily. And pretty much all counts, this Jeep Liberty is doing pretty well. So I'm gonna pull in here, and this would be a good opportunity to check out the turning radius. It's got a fairly weighty steering. It like I said, it feels kind of like heavy and truck-like. I kind of like it. You feel the road like more than you would expect. All right, and this thing, it actually has like a surprisingly good turning radius. That was very good. One of the best, actually. So, you know, I do believe this thing is pretty off-road capable. Like, that turning radius alone, that could get you out of some tight off-road situations. Yeah, it moves okay. I mean, it's really not too bad. Very linear around the corner, very smooth in how it tracks the corner. Dare I say, this Jeep Liberty is a little bit fun to drive. I like this high seating position. I like the engine note, the crisp accelerator response, the powerful brakes are nice. The only thing kind of missing, there's just some body lean in the corners, but I mean, it does okay. It really does okay. Yeah, really not too bad at all. I feel weird saying that this Jeep Liberty, like, really isn't that bad, but I could daily drive this, like, no problem. Road noise, I'd say, is about average for this segment. You do hear a little bit of wind noise, but not as bad as I thought it would be. It's fairly quiet in here, a fairly normal amount of road noise, I would say. Gives you kind of like that unique driving feel of like a bigger truck while having the handling of a smaller car. We're gonna take it on the highway here and try out the acceleration a little bit more. And there's 70 right there. Really not like a whole lot of drama with merging onto the highway. I'm gonna make a quick pass here. Yeah, and this thing, it can speed. Doesn't mind a little bit of speed. Definitely some wind noise, but you know, it's really not a bad highway car. Ride smooth, easy to drive. see what these brakes can do. All right, the brakes, they do feel like kind of spongy when you're trying to make a harder stop. I do notice that if I'm trying to make a harder stop, I kind of have to lean into the pedal a decent amount. But for just like normal stops like this, they feel fine. Get back on the highway, try a more normal highway acceleration here. Hit highway speeds pretty easily. Do have to kind of rev it when you're trying to get up to speed fast, but no big deal. At 70 miles an hour, it's very comfortable. Pretty smooth ride. Pretty easy to drive on the highway. You know, body lean, but very smooth as well. Definitely not as bad as I thought it would be. Yeah, this thing is surprisingly like jumpy when it gets up and moves. And it's smooth as well. It's got like a nice smooth power delivery. All right, you guys, well, I'm pretty sure I talked about everything with this 2012 Jeep Liberty. I think I'll end the video here. Really not as bad as I thought it would be. I actually kind of liked it, dare I say. You know, it feels like truck-like. It feels big. It feels substantial. Feels truck-like, but at the same time, it gives you more of a car-like handling dynamic. It's very smooth in terms of the ride, a little bit bouncy, but smooth for the most part. Overall, I really can't complain with this Jeep Liberty. I've had a pretty good time driving it. We're just gonna back it into this spot right here. I'm over the line, but whatever, there's nobody here. All right, we're gonna hop out. All right, thanks for watching, everyone.